$750,000 a year for this program. So I think the numbers can be relatively small.
Okay.
But I'll come back to the board with all that information.
Okay.
That's fine. So I'd love to move forward with it.
Yes. So do you need a motion just to move forward with it then?
I think I feel comfortable.
So we need a motion for Dr. Ryan to move forward with the application process for the grant for the yes, whatever the letters are.
So I will make that motion. Did you get all of that, Maria?
I changed what I had, I took out the money.
Yeah.
So it's just to move forward with the grant application process.
School-based mental health services grant.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Fantastic.
I need a second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
Great. And then just an update on town emergency operations. We had a meeting last night down at the town hall. It's going quite well. We're through, I think, ESF number 8. We go up to 16, so we'll be finishing that work. Those are very thin. Those were the easier ones. I will say working with the fire chief is a lot of fun because he has a very central role in the EOP, and Catherine, which the town administrator, does as well. It's nice to see the acting police chief there as well, who was there. And so, and then of course Josh Green, all being facilitated by Southwest Community Services. So it's gone well. We play an avid role in it being a site for any type of, where we have to set up any meals or become sanctuary in case something happens where people come to stay in the schools. So being part of that process, and proud that the district's part of that process. It's a big deal. It's changed a lot. The last one that was written was 20 years ago. And the energy plant across the river was working. Now it's not. There are still spent rods there, and so we still have to pay attention to the electrical issues, but nothing near what was before. So it's been good.
I think that's hiding under adjustment.
So, and that concludes my report.
I just had some questions about the ED 306.
Sure.
So I went through it, the proposal, and then so I just wanted to bring up a couple of things that I had noticed.
Good.
So they're deleting the rigor out of it. They're also deleting the accountability part for them and the assessment part of it. So that concerns me, you know.
It would depend on the section.
Right,
Where
it's
they have
a
that.
306.24 and the 306.23. Or dot 23 and
That sounds like it's in
24.
the high school section.
And
So
they're
would that
also,
be getting rid
they
of
also
the-
deleted the 306.19, which was, and from what I read was the school has to maintain a school calendar. Which
So
was
we
like,
just fly
Which I
by the
thought
seat
again,
where-
because
Yeah,
the
I was
local
like-
school board should retain the authority to determine the school calendar,
mhm,
period.
But
Yeah.
we do, don't we?
You sure do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
100%.
currently, they're gonna get rid of that. Basically, is what they're saying, and the one that's currently being proposed, I'm sure it's gonna change before it finally gets to the finality or whatever, but that's just some of the things that they're talking about. And then, of course, graduation requirements are changing. Some we knew about already was the deletion of US history, and then the adding of the civics and civility that was added.
And that's a change from when I was on the group.
Yeah.
To now,
Yeah,
drastic change. We
Yeah.
had actually built statewide graduation competencies so that it didn't matter what your zip code was, you were getting equal opportunity to the same high level learning
Mhm.
that student in Exeter, Bedford, Bethlehem, Hinsdale, it didn't matter where you lived, everyone was held to the same standard. That was eliminated. That was eliminated at the commissioner level, not at the task force level.
Yeah.
That was something that we stood up against.
yeah, so there's a couple of things on there that I just wanna make the board aware of that's happening, and maybe keep your eye on it.
Yes, yeah, one of the things that I remind people, and I'll say it here too, is that these are the minimum.
Mhm.
These establish the minimum, which means it doesn't set the ceiling for us. It only
Right.
sets the bar. So even with the elimination of some things in there, doesn't mean that we can't still continue with those. If it states we can't, then we can't.
Right.
But if it removes something, we can still move forward with it. And so, so for instance, if it takes away the right of a school board, says the state will do that, now obviously, we're gonna want to argue that. I think every school board will.
Mhm.
But if it says students only need this in order to graduate from high school, the state says we only, students need 20 credits to graduate from high school, we require 24 and a half. So some places require 26. So we can always exceed minimum, and we would make recommendations if we do.
Yeah.
So
They even like deleting the custodial maintenance services section. So,
there's some
See,
curious
that's
stuff.
gonna
Yeah.
Those are the
be
financial
funding.
funding issues.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
yes,
gonna-
that's what I'm saying, like.
I have a feeling this is their solution. They keep getting in trouble for not paying.
Bingo,
Yes,
because the more you
exactly.
take away that they're
Right.
financially accountable to,
unless they have
the
to
less
pay.
they have to pay.
Right.
When I say they, I mean
Right.
ultimately the state, what the government's gonna end up allocating. So that's the funding issue that people are concerned about, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good catches on those.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, anybody have any questions for Dr. Ryan? And then-
Is the director of academics and career readiness, is that part of your report or was that separate?
Wasn't part of it, it should be. I didn't know where we had, where did we put that on the agenda? I can't.
I think this is-
Oh, you know what? I thought it was gonna come up under personnel committee.
Okay.
Should we speak to it there?
Yeah. that works.
Because we met on personnel. Thank you.
Business administration.
I'm sure you have my report. Just a couple things. I kind of ended the report with the facilities director hiring team. I did want to let you know that that is comprised of Mr. Barth, Mr. Bocchio, Mr. Theriot, Ms. Kendra, Scott DeBell, who is one of our custodians, and Sean Lee and myself. We will be meeting, I just set that date because everybody got back to me, 3:30 next Thursday. And at that point, we'll be going through resumes. We'll be sharing a folder ahead of that time, so people can go through some of those.
Jane, you said 3:30 on the 18th.
On whatever next Thursday is.
That's the
Is
18th.
it?
Isn't that our Wednesday?
No, it's the 17th.
Oh,
Just sent that out to you too.
okay, great.
I thought, Joe, I thought you said you couldn't do it. I thought it was 4:30 you said on all your days. Am I wrong?
No, on Thursday it can do right.
Oh, okay.
That's why I grabbed that one.
Fills it right up.
Sorry, Joe.
Okay, and is that in here? Okay.
Yep, I just sent an email out, so you'll have that. The other thing that has come up is the state released the list of districts / schools that are eligible under the community eligibility provision to basically get free meals. Our district did not make it. One school did. The elementary school did. They're very close to the line. So the first thing that we have to do is I have to submit a list of our students currently enrolled, and they're going to check that against those students that were in the eligibility, because sometimes as you're going through these, you may have eligible students that then get homeschooled, or they get pulled out, or they move. So they have to check. So we're at like 27 point, I forgot what percent, 8.224. So being that close, I just want to make sure that they say, yep, okay, you're in. There's other factors to consider. So what happens when you go through this is they have this little formula. So we have currently enrolled 248 kids, right? So if under our 27.8226, we multiply that by 1.6, we come out to about 44%. Okay. 44% of our students, or of the numbers submitted, would get, I think currently this year's rates, it's $4.25 back per student per meal. The other 56% would only get 56 cents back. So you kind of have to take a look and say, what are we currently receiving? So easiest number is to say, 100 meals at $275, we're getting $275. If you then do those same 100 students with a 44-56 split, we end up losing money. So I've got to run those numbers carefully before we come to you and say we recommend or we don't recommend. But I did want to just bring that to you. This is all kind of new, very new for me. I've never had this before. But I just want to make sure, because one of the things they do say is consider it very carefully and understand. The fact that they dropped that number to 25% from 40 means there's going to be a lot more schools that may, yeah, we're going to make it, but are you going to be able to sustain your program? Right. The other flip side of that is we may end up, you know, we've done pretty well, like, you know, we're maintaining a profit. We might still be able to do that if I want to look at the numbers, but then the opportunity to offer 248 kids free breakfast and free lunch is huge, and what that does for the community. So I want to be able to give you the financial side and then the humanitarian side as much as I can. But again, the first thing I want to do is just make sure, because the first thing they ask you to do is send the information just to make sure. If we were at like 40%, I wouldn't even be thinking of it, but we're at 27.8, a little close, you know, so some kids are still on their list that may not be enrolled anymore. I'm just a little worried about that. So I will have a lot more information at the next meeting, but this just came out on Friday and I just wanted to give you guys an update, and I'm learning with you. So,
Do we have the number that we're owed right now? Because we are constantly in the hole with our lunches.
I don't have that current number. We did go down over February break, and that is thanks to Erica. Erica called a lot of our big people that owed and had them pay in. I will be continuing to do that. We have a letter that will be attached to the your student owes tax, and it's going to be a letter coming from me that basically states the importance of paying your bill. What's going to happen if you're a senior and you're leaving, it kind of gives you the, you know, if you have money left on your account, here's what happens, or here's who to contact. It's got a whole, it's a page and a half. I don't think that kind of went on a little bit. But it's also basically stating that, you know, if these bills are not paid, there's one of two remedies, either going to collections, or we're going to go to small claims court, and it just depends on what the dollar amount. A larger dollar amount, I'm going to small claims court because it's worth the $75 filing. Whereas the others, if once you go to collections, you could have anywhere up to between 30 and 45%. Collections keeps, and you're only going to get, you know, the remainder. At that point, when it goes to collections, you write that off, and you never can ask for it again. They're on, you know, they're on their list. The collections company deals with that. If they get funds, we would get our portion. So those are just things to consider. So I will get you an updated number as we move forward, but I know Erica is right on top of it. She's keeping right on top of all of our graduating seniors to make sure that those balances are paid, because those are very important as to whether, you know, graduation and so forth is going to proceed on, you know, attending or whatever. So after April break, I think we'll have a better number. And if I need to call, calls I have to do before, don't have a problem doing it.
I was just asking because you said that we would end up owing, but I didn't know if what that program would end us owing would be less than what we would be owing for our huge balance now.
No, this one would be totally different. Now, the advantage to having CEP in one of your schools, it'd be lovely if it was the whole district, is you don't have to collect applications. Okay, so the community eligibility provision, the reason it's at 27.8, when we all know our numbers are higher than that, that is only based on those people that would be homeless, migrant, foster, TANF, or SNAP. So those TANF and SNAP are, one's a temporary food alternative, and the other is it's more of applied assistance, like your WIC and all that type of stuff. Those are called categorically free. And that's the number that they use. They do not use the application number. If we loop in our applications to it, we are a much higher percentage. But this only is for what's called categorically free, which are those that qualify under those items. It's been a learning curve for me. I had to learn that one too. It's like I like to learn, so it's been good.
So would people, so once you get to middle high school, then you would have to start applying again?
Yes. And I
So
still,
that's
I'm
something
gonna
to think
encourage
too.
that we still apply.
Right.
Because that feeds other items in Title I and
Right.
IDA. And I know just, not everybody's gonna apply. It's so much more than just getting a free meal. I just wish people understood everything that comes with it.
I heard Karen's really good at getting people to fill surveys out. Karen, this is not the time or place.
You brought it up, Kendra. You know I'm good at it, right?
But I just did want to bring that up to you to let you know what did take place on Friday.
All right.
Were you able to find funding for the dog filling station?
We may have.
think we're gonna
We
be okay.
have to apply for it, so we'll see.
I think we're gonna be okay.
I do too.
Stay tuned. Yeah, all right, we'll work on it.
And Madam Chair, I spoke too soon. I did have one more item on my report. It just wasn't on my report. This is in reference to last Thursday's freaky spring snowstorm.
Yes, yeah, oh, that's, I have that.
So when you can ask to take one, pass it down. I have two pieces of, or two documents here. I did write up to the Department of Education to inquire as to whether or not we needed to make that day up. I explained, I went to Nate Green, who's pretty high up in terms of program administration in the past. He got back to me, but also they sent out in the Friday Forum, which is a newsletter that goes out every Friday from the Department of Ed, that if you satisfy the number of hours of instruction that are required in a year, which is 990 at the middle high, 945 at the elementary, you don't need to make a day up, even if you as a local board follow the calendar, the 180-day calendar. It really is a local board decision as to whether or not you want to make up that day, and that's in any year. And so in order for us to move forward with or either scheduling or not scheduling the makeup day, I wanted to bring it to the board and find out what the board would like to do, because you do have the authority over the academic calendar. And so I just wanted to see what your thoughts are.
So with us being days and not hours, do we have enough hours with our days?
We have an
currently?
additional 10 days built in our calendar based on hours alone. We maximize 6 hours at the middle high school and 5 hours and 45 minutes at the elementary school of instructional time. That includes advisory, and you can use additional recess time of up to 15 minutes, so a total of 30 to count towards instruction. It's really clear in the regulations, and actually when we did the revision of the 306s, I worked with Nate to iron out what do those hours mean? What is instructional time? It's the amount of instruction offered. But the maximum hours per day that the Department of Ed will recognize is 6 hours at the middle high, 5 hours and 45 minutes at the elementary. Multiply that by 180, you have 10 days built in automatically just based on that. So essentially what we've done is we've been out of school for 2 days. So we still have 8 days. So we've gone the equivalent of 188 days if we only goes 178. Oh, 179, excuse me.
What about parents?
So
And
we have
other
our
staff
hourly
who-
employees, and
yeah.
that's one thing, that's a deficit is,
Right.
you don't make that day up, and so that's a day's pay that our hourly employees don't get. We want to talk about how we can make that remedy, whether it be a professional learning day for them.
Yeah.
We don't want to just hand over a check, we want to do something that's going to earn that day back.
Right.
And contractually, don't we have to pay?
Not in instances of weather,
Oh,
Yeah.
But a PD would be a perfect.
But- morally and ethically,
Mhm.
we do.
So what you're saying is if you have a snow day, a parent does not get paid?
That's correct.
If you don't make it up.
Right, normally we'd make it
Yeah,
up.
so they would get the pay in June when we made up the
Oh, when you
day.
made up the
Yeah,
day.
but that week.
But a
they're checked.
contractual employee will get paid, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? So we needed a motion to not replace the snow day we had.
To waive the requirement to
Thank
make
you.
up the snow day.
Yes.
The April 1st.
Somebody want to make that motion?
So I will make a motion to leave that. Can I add a caveat that we will should we add about PD for pairs or just keep it to
That might limit us, but if you wanted to add a caveat that said, and direct administration to determine how best to make up that day
Yeah.
for hourly employees.
Maria, did you get all that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'll make that
That
motion.
motion, that's the motion.
That must be a
Thank you
blast
for the
to follow
report.
that.
I know, and she does
She does
so
great.
beautifully.
I don't know how she does
So
it.
we
She
need
and
a,
I are speaking the same language.
so we need a second.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? We'll move the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So it will not affect graduation date.
June 8th.
Hooray.
Thank God, I was like, oh no, we did all
That was
that
the
for
driving
nothing.
force. Driving for that. Don't wanna work out.
Yeah,
Happy about that.
that would have been rough.
You pitchforks and torches
Yeah.
at the door, so no,
Yep.
it's all good.
And
From me,
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard, you were the first one I heard from.
cause already in $200-something dollars for invitations.
Karen, we know about her invitations.
And Bob and I tried to,
Well, I've already
Track
mailed
that.
them out.
couldn't,
You couldn't
Yeah.
track this.
and I know we didn't get a lot, but everyone
It
else
was
did, and we
crazy.
just, we couldn't drag it. It was
Yeah.
12 one day, it was 2 another, we're like, let's just call it.
And
Funny
it
thing
was
was, like-
rough all day.
Yeah.
It would not have been good to
Just
have
gross.
people out on the roads.
Yeah. Like one day, my lawn is full of snow,
Yeah.
the next day it's all gone.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay.
No more.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we are all
That was
just
fun.
Yes.
Yes, we don't need any more.
I'm now on.
Okay, all right. And I just wanted to do some housekeeping because
Yes, please.
we have the committees for the search committees for the principals and facilities, we need to approve the board person for those committees. So I need a motion to approve Kayla for the elementary school principal search committee. Somebody want to make that?
I make that motion then, yeah.
And I need a second. Is there any discussion about it or anything? So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Kayla, congratulations. I need a motion to approve me for the high school principal search committee.
I'll make that motion.
Maybe second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Move the question. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And then Kendra for facilities search committee.
I'll make them, oh, wait, do it.
Do
I'll
it.
make that motion.
Good job.
I'll
I-
second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So. moved. Okay, just, I didn't want to forget doing that.
Perfect, no, perfect.
All right, so any questions for Jane? Nope. Moving on to Karen.
Madam Chair, you have my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions. I do want to just add that we are close to finalizing culture of a learner, as I mentioned in the report. I did want to put out there that Kayla had suggested that we share some of the data, the direct data from the surveys, which we can do. We had our last meeting was 2 nights ago, and we can pull that together. We are still in the process of getting the community data collected, which we should have done by next Wednesday. We're going to do a focus group with the retired community at the community center that have apparently a lot to say,
I
a
was
lot
gonna
to
ask you
share with
about
us.
that, 'cause I didn't get anything to post on Community Connections to put it out.
Oh,
The
okay.
survey?
The link for that one,
Right,
for the community members?
right.
Okay.
So if you want to send that to me,
The concern I have with that is that I want to make sure it's community people,
Yeah.
not parents, because we don't want parents to take it.
because the right, the parents already took it.
So it would skew the data,
That's-
like,
I see
it
what
would,
you're
you know, it went, so, I think it's fine, we just would need to be clear that this is for
I
parents who
can-
have not taken it, and it's community members, otherwise not connected to the
Yeah.
school through
Okay.
the students, I
Yeah.
think. So yes, I will send you
Okay.
that. And then once we do the last focus group next Wednesday, we will have completed the data. Our hope is to have the attributes of the portrait ready for the May board meeting. And then a plan for how we're gonna move forward with not letting it just hang on the wall next year and how we're gonna roll it out. I'm hoping that the elementary school will take on the responsibility of developing the picture, the actual visual of what our portrait's gonna look like. We did talk about having one visual for each school, which we could also do. But in terms of us bringing to the board, we're right on track to be able to deliver what we need to, what we had promised in May, on time. So we're looking forward to putting that all together, and it's been fascinating to see some of the data. So we will share all that data with you. And I also think that data is going to be really, really helpful for us in many other ways than just developing a portrait. I see us using some of that feedback in our strategic planning, in all the things that we're looking to do. So yes, that's what I have.
Any questions for me? Do we, for your credentialing part, how many do we have on plan? Do you know? Two. So it's not that many.
Everything is filed. Everybody has a statement of eligibility and they're working on their site.
Anybody else?
Wondering why they're making this group, all of those grants together. Is there any
No, I don't know if
reasoning?
Dr. Ryan can speak to that, but that's new. That's so new.
Right.
And so
I guess
Julie's-
long-term maybe it'll make sense, but we're trying to do all that.
Yeah,
It's a matter of efficiency that the department has found to coincide with some changes made at the federal level. And so that trickles down to us. So we have to go through it and comply. And
it's a bit of a challenge.
it seems to change a little bit every year. For a few years, so the general assurances that we submitted last month, that changed a couple years ago. This is the new change, and I suspect that there'll be something a year or two that we'll have to change.
Any other questions? We'll move on to the principal's report. Mr. Barr?
Yep, so you have my report in your packet. I do just want to add, which wasn't in my report, National Honor Society induction is April 18th at 6 p.m. in the library. So that'll be next Thursday. You see all our testing results. The eclipse went great. Pretty much every student, even though we only had 194 pairs, every student that wanted one received one. And so they did a fine job with that. So that was great. We're on track with scheduling. We're going to have students actually now going Tuesday to the Cheshire Center to visit those that have expressed interest. And we have 14 students that are interested in the programs. So we'll be going over there Tuesday, starting at 8:45. So we'll have kids be able to go there. And then as requested earlier in the school year, you have our number of referrals from Q1, Q2, and Q3. A quick glance at those referrals, and if you see there's been a decline, but many of these referrals are repeat students. I don't want to say offenders, but they were repeated. And as the school year's gone on, we've provided different supports for those students. And so it's nice to see that number has been reduced for sure. And that's where we're at this point.
Any questions for Mr. Barr?
Are you finding that the truancy from Q2 at 39 to Q3 to 6, are there any dropouts in that?
So what we've been finding out is when we do file chins for truancy, then families sometimes choose homeschool. Because now they've had that pressure of, okay, the schools, and the reason second quarter is going to be larger for referrals is the fact that they've now hit that threshold. So from first quarter to second quarter. We just went again, actually, Mr. Ponce went today to court, and there's a court hearing May 8th. So we're doing our due diligence. We're not having a tremendous amount of success, but we keep on plugging away at it.
Great.
Any other questions for Mr. Barr? Thank you, Mr. Barr.
Thank you.
Mr. Rubio.
Well, thanks, Madam Chair. On my report, and I realized after I submitted to Mrs. Webb that you had asked about the dog tag thing. And I did check in with Mrs. King, and it was a goal, you're probably, by April 30th, the sign says you gotta get this done,
Right.
but it was a gold paw print. And it was chosen by them, and this year they did have Mrs. Mitchell come and speak to the class, and the students really enjoyed that. But it wasn't quite as big as it has been in the past, simply because we have the new ELA curriculum, which was requiring a lot of focus and time. So hopefully, once we become more familiar with the new ELA curriculum, we can devote a little bit more time to it next year and be able to do a nice presentation. But the fourth grade loves being able to do it.
Awesome. Any questions?
Any
from us?
questions, I can try and answer them.
I have a question. What defines aggressive action?
Well, it's like throwing chairs, hitting, kicking, fighting.
Okay.
Kind of general categories in that.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Bocchio? Oh, I forgot to ask Mr. Barth and Mr. Bocchio, actually, I'll ask both of you that, what are some of the things that you'll be doing for Kindness Day? 19, sorry.
So right now, if you go through the building, there's boxes for a community food bank, clothing bank. We've got some cleanups that'll be going on throughout the community. And the Kindness Tuesdays have been, I think, a big hit. I mean, every Tuesday I go around and there is some discussion, some more rich than others. But, you know, teachers have been following through with that. And it's become part of that culture. So, but the exciting things are, I think, the food pantry, clothing pantry, we've got spaces, the boxes, like I said, just went out today. Some cleanup, some painting of picnic tables. So each advisor has come up with different areas that they want to focus, a lot of beautification areas, cleanups.
And we're more or less partners going along for the ride in terms of some of the advisories from the middle school. I've reached out to the lower grades to partner with them to do things. Off the top of my head, like second grade is going to do some cleanup with one of the advisors. I think it's Mrs. Steve's group. And then they're also going to, the kids are going to, the upper level kids will be helping them with some research projects around Earth Day and that kind of thing. I think third grade has, you remember Susanna brought the terrariums.
Yes.
So they're going to be working on that. And so some of the advisors are just doing, you know, learning activities with the younger kids. Kindergarten has something going on with one of the 7th and 8th grade advisories. And that's all I can remember off the top of my head, but we're kind of like partners going along for the ride.
That's nice. That'll be fun too, big kids.
Yeah.
Little kids having big kids.
The kids have really been excited
Yeah, I bet.
about doing this. I mean, it's really been, you know, student driven.
Yeah. Great.
Joe, has there been any talk about 5th grade grad? Have a day been set for that?
Tentatively, we talked about doing it on, I was worried about that snow day, but that's good news. June 7th, Monday is June 17th, I recall, right, Bob? Yeah, so Monday, June 17th, the field day on the 14th.
Oh, I didn't feel good.
17th.
Yeah.
So the last, June 17th, the last day of school would be, okay, for grad?
Yeah,
5th grade.
Okay.
And when was field day? Then?
the 14th.
Donna, have you had people reach out for it, 5th grade grad?
To me personally at this point, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably waiting for a date.
I
Were
know
you hoping?
the PTA executive board is meeting tomorrow night, and PTA kind of runs the whole thing there.
Yeah.
So should be more information after tomorrow night.
I'll be there
Go to
till
that. What time is that?
6 o'clock, I think.
What's the date? Oh, 12, 11?
Today's-
The 11th.
today's the 11th.
Tomorrow's the 11th. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions for Mr. Bocchio? Thank you, Mr. Bocchio. IT director's report.
Yep, you have my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions about it. Before that, I just want maybe some guidance or decision about the meeting tonight. We had difficulties at the beginning with people getting in, and then audio problems. Our sound system was turned off.
Oh,
So much of Dr. Ryan's report and us selecting the chair and vice chair will not be on the recording.
okay.
Do you want to recap that, or do you want me to just add a link to the minutes in the description on the YouTube video when I upload that?
How does Dr. Ryan feel about recapping his part?
Actually, I'd recommend just going to the minutes,
Yeah,
only
that was my
because
thought.
the requirement for the board to hold its meeting does not include having it broadcast.
Mhm.
So the board's met its requirement, and I think just as a courtesy to those that could
Yeah, I
have
think
been
if you
watching,
link them,
Yeah, I'll-
apology for the technical difficulties and the link to the minutes.
Yeah,
I'll just add some caption at the beginning, like there's audio problems at the beginning, see the description.
yeah,
And click the link.
perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll work.
And we'll troubleshoot that.
Yep.
Figure it out.
Maybe the checklist first, how to start a meeting. Maybe microphone's on, sound system on. Any questions for Justin? No? Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
New board business. I think we should revisit to start with the job descriptions. Do that first. That's okay with everybody?
Have to do the student report.
Yeah, oh yes, no, let's do that first.
Let's go.
Sorry, yeah, I'm sorry, Michael. Thanks for making it. That's what I meant to do.
It's all good. Yeah.
So I'm back with like a more developed discussion on like the lunch group things. Now I feel like because of how our schedules are, 2 blocks instead of 3 is probably not the best idea. But however, how we could split up those groups, because I know that the high school, because of all the VEX classes and whatnot, there's a certain balance in there. But like we could have 6 through 8, 9 through 10, and 11 through 12, which would kind of even out the numbers a little bit. Because like if you have 6 through 8, those are just beginning middle schoolers and all that. That way, like they're not too far from elementary school. Like they don't have to be too uncomfortable. 9 through 10, 9th graders just getting into high school. 10th graders who've already been in high school and have already gotten all that. And then like the 11th and 12th graduating and soon to graduate. It may require like schedule adjustment because of the teachers' lunches. I noticed they kind of go along with how the student lunches are. And then there's also the splitting lunch gym in the mornings, which I don't think would disrupt teacher schedules as much. But we'd have just middle school in the gym and just high school in the lunchroom, unless it obviously would change for like middle schoolers wanting to get breakfast and whatnot, but that's what I had for that.
Keep it at. Do you have anything else?
I had like a little bit on ways to engage students, which I'll be developing that more for the next meeting.
Okay.
But, and then there's things for like the kindness day, like fundraising for the donations, community service ideas, like what Mr. Clark was talking about, and like the raid cooperation stuff on field day, when we have like more group activities on field day, if we haven't already created activities, perhaps ones more for the group rather than just individuals.
Do you mind me asking a question? How's, in your advisory, how have been the Kindness Tuesdays? I don't want to put you on the spot.
We've been doing the Kindness Tuesday. We haven't really been discussing what we're gonna do for Kindness Day, but we've been doing just fine. And like the whole advisory works well together, so.
Any other questions from Michael? Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
So now. So we have 2 new one revised and one new job description as a first reading. Any questions on either of those?
I just wanted to clarify, so one of the additions for Karen is collaborate extensively with school counseling staff at the elementary and secondary schools. Is that students too? Then that just originally we had discussed working with students and developing like their career pathways and stuff.
Yeah, so I think it would. I don't know if you want to speak. My vision is that it would be that I would be in classrooms working with teachers and students, giving teachers resources to help incorporate connecting academics to career readiness. Kindergarten through sixth, through fifth, and then in sixth, middle school, really implementing maybe through skill sets, maybe through, I'm not sure yet where that would happen, but I think it can happen in every classroom, in every course, in every room. And how are we going to do that? And then through the high school, really working with students one-on-one around VLAX, dual enrollment, all those different opportunities that we have, but particularly offering up, really looking for ways to get our students out of Hinsdale into the bigger world, just to explore and to see what's available to them. By when we take kids to like Nashville Community College, for instance, our kids have never seen anything like that. So really trying to get opportunities, and that's not just for middle high school. That's getting our younger kids to start thinking about things in a career-connected way at a younger age. So yes, it would definitely mean both, but I think really supplying resources to teachers so that they can bring stuff into their classrooms.
And do you feel good about this job
I
description?
do. Thank you for asking.
Any other questions? The digital learning specialist is a new job description, right?
Correct, yes, it's a new position. I'd like to ask Justin to go ahead and explain the genesis of it. This is his brainchild, which I thought was brilliant, so you can just talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, so for a long time now, we've identified that there's been shortcomings as far as the use of technology and infrastructure that we have in place in the technology department within the instruction that's provided to students. So this position will be working with our teachers and our students to hopefully not so much like give a computer lesson, but how to use the tools we already have in place in the current lessons that we have to either augment them or just be more efficient with our time and maybe even save money on supplies if we, I'm not gonna put the paperless word out there. I just did. That's not really a goal from that. And then also supporting our other staff, so the business department, the SAU staff in general, even paras or custodial staff, if they have an issue with the technology we have, that person can also provide that support with the platforms that we have on site. So it's kind of just rather than just focusing on the devices and infrastructure, it's more of getting the usage of them out there.
One of the things that Justin and I talked about beginning of the school year, one summer when I was doing my entry work with each of the administrators, was viewing his role as director of instructional technology and moving away from director of informational technology. So an IT person thinks more in terms of networks and systems. An instructional technologist thinks of how our students are learning using the technology that we have available to us, and how are teachers using the technology for more than just presentation. How are they using it for their research? How are students using it for their learning? How are teachers using it for their own professional learning? And he's really taken hold of that, and this is one of the outputs of him thinking in terms of an instructional technology director. So I'm grateful that he came up with it, and we talked through it. We worked on this job description together to try and meet the needs. We see the role expanding over time because we don't know what we don't know with a position like this, but we know that the vision for it is pretty solid and it exists in several school districts across the state, outside the state as well. But not a credentialed position, not recognized as a certified teaching position at the department level. So it creates some flexibility for us in the hiring and the training of the person that we want to put in the position.
And this is just a first reading, so next month we'll come back with the final reading and approval of them. So we just need a motion to accept them as a first reading.
I'll make that motion.
Second, any more discussion on them? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved. And then we have. Get back to it. Board committee assignments is next. So we have several committees that some of us are already on and others that have openings. The first one is the Behavioral Support Committee. It's currently Kayla and Gina. Kayla, did you want to continue?
Yeah, I would understand.
So then we need somebody to be the second on that one. Anybody that's interested?
Kayla, when do they meet?
It's usually in the middle of the day. Is our meetings are at 10:30, Joe, for behavior?
I thought it was more like 9:30 or
9:30.
10:15.
Yeah, I think 9:30. So
But
they're,
I would suggest that with the new group going to the MTSS training, that we may want to restructure the staff that participate in the meeting. And that might
Shift the
impact
schedule.
the schedule.
Yeah, and on their availability, yeah.
So should we-
Subject to change.
yeah. Should we hold off on that until after we know which direction we're going, or just?
Well, we still need the board members on there.
Yeah, we would work with, we find a happy medium for meeting.
I'm definitely out of that one at 10:30.
During the day at 10, yeah.
Yeah, 9:30, but subject to change.
Yeah, I may not be able to stay at that time. We'll find out what the availability is of everybody, find the sweet spot. But it will be driven by teacher availability because of the class schedule. So we'll rabbit out of a hat.
I can do it if it's anywhere from 12:30 to 2:30 or after 4:30, but other than that, no.
And if we're gonna have teachers on it, then it might have to shift to after school, I would think, potentially, right?
Yeah,
Kayla, do you want to
it's
do
kinda
it
hard to
pending
get-
on like, and if you can't do it, then we'll revisit it?
Yeah, we can throw my
now?
name on it and then I'll just have to say no if the times can't change.
I forget, do we need to vote on these or?
No,
Not
typically the
these.
chair assigns, you're doing it in a very democratic fashion, so you don't,
Right.
but you won't need to vote.
Representative to the budget committee, I'm doing it, I'd like to keep doing it. Kendra, do you want to stay the alternate?
No,
Okay,
I can be the alternate, but I was on budget
you
committee.
basically never have to go to a meeting because I go to all of them, it's basically only if I can't show up.
Right, and I was on budget committee, so I would be
Okay,
fine
you want to do
being the
it?
alternate.
Community connections, I'm fine with keeping it, if someone wants to keep it back up for getting information to me and whatnot for posting, or wants to be able to post. Or it can just be me, it doesn't really, I don't think it
If
really
you
needs two
need a
people.
backup, I can do that.
Yeah. We'll put you down. Facilities committee, I'm currently on it, but I would like to ask Mark if he'd like to take my position
Yeah.
on it.
What do they mean?
They meet quarterly, so the next meeting is on the 19th, I believe.
Usually it's a Friday afternoon.
Yeah,
Oh, that's perfect.
yeah,
And am I the alternate for that?
you are.
Okay, I was gonna say, it didn't say
I can
alternate.
certainly be-
panicked
I
a
can be the
little, but I've been
alternate.
skipping
It'll
meetings.
be perfect after your job title.
Yeah, after my job title changes, right?
I can be the alternate.
Okay.
Got promotion?
No,
Do you want it?
Switching departments, which completely changes his schedule.
Yeah, my whole schedule.
Right now, he works Fridays, and we don't know when that'll end.
But you don't, do you want to be the alternate?
I can be the alternate, because I
Yeah.
don't work Fridays.
Yeah, if you want to do that too, then
Yep,
that's
that's
fine.
fine.
Okay, so Mark and Lee.
Nice.
CASP advisory is me and Kendra.
I wanna stay.
Yeah, I don't mind being, unless somebody else wants it, I do enough. So if somebody wants an extra committee.
I don't ever miss the meetings.
Yeah, it's right before this meeting quarterly,
Yep.
so it's an easy committee to be on.
Is it an alternate or two
No,
board members?
two.
I
board
mean, if
members.
you don't want it, I have done it before. I don't mind going.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care either way. So if you want to do it, I'm offering it up if someone wants to do it.
Alright.
You know what I mean? If you
I
don't want to
can
do it, then I'll do
I can
it.
do it again, but
Okay.
when I do like being on.
I don't want to force you into anything.
that one I do like, and it's only quarterly.
Yeah,
I'll do quarterly, the weekly or monthly.
Marianne does most of the work.
Yeah,
let's be
she
honest.
does. She's
It's a quick
fantastic, so
meeting.
I'll do that
It's a quick
one.
hitter.
And then legislative, I tend to stay up on it, so I don't mind being that person.
Yeah,
if
that
that's
sounds
okay with
fantastic to
everybody.
me, because I don't. want to.
I generally will go into those emails that we get and, yeah. Personnel committee is me and Holly. I'd like to stay on that one, but I'll need another person.
You can put me on that one.
Okay. Policy committee is Holly.
I will do that one. What is, when do they meet?
We'll be setting that up because we have a lot of work to do. There'll be summer work to do for sure.
Okay.
But we are organizing our attack right now. There's a lot. to do.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, we have some catch up to do in that area that we didn't get done this last year. Portrait of a learner was Holly and Kayla.
And I would like to stay on that.
Okay. Does anybody else want to do
I would like to not add my name.
it?
It's a good one. You
I
would
think
actually
I'm
like
just,
it.
I'm in so
It's gonna
much.
be wrapping up too, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not. too
Oh, I
much
love that.
longer.
It's actually only gonna be next month's
Next.
meeting.
One more
Yeah.
meeting and it's over.
Yeah.
I will join that one.
Kendra's on it.
So dedicated.
I am excited, Karen.
You are such
to-
a giver, Kendra.
I am.
Cannot
wait.
okay?
See through it.
She'll be like, oh, I forgot.
Oh, no, she's not forgetting, don't worry. I'll remind her.
Are we
great.
going to the forum or is that just you guys?
Oh, it's during lunch, I'm just gonna go down and do it. I'm
perfect.
just gonna give out surveys and
Okay.
then hide in the corner of parents because they have a lot to say, so.
Yeah, that's, if you need backup, let me know.
Thank you, thank you.
Next one is select board representative. This person basically goes to a select board meeting before or after our meeting. You can go to all of them, you can go to one.
I don't think Kendra or I
No.
should be on this.
I don't know. Kendra was on it and.
And I was.
And what,
So,
April?
so the requirements to either before ours or after ours?
Yeah, the Monday
I go to-
before
I
or
go to-
after.
I enjoy going to them anyways.
So-
Usually it's to do with me. so.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Somehow we're in the middle of all of it.
Uh-huh. Do you wanna be the person and I know Mark said he was interested. in
You didn't even
backup.
ask if I want to give it up.
I know you wanna give it up, so.
You already tried to
If
give
somebody
it up.
else
I
wants
did.
to, I will.
I'm not good at it.
And
I'll-
you could be their primary and Mark
I'll
could
be
be
the
backup.
backup, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine. Me and Mark will do
Yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah.
perfect. That's perfect.
It's basically just to like keep us
Are you back up?
informed of what the
backup.
town's doing and we try to keep the town informed of what we're doing, that
Yep.
kind of thing, so. Like a liaison. per se. That is, I'm gonna put this, this part of it, so I see it. Staff development is Kayla with Kendra as an alternate. Did you want to stay on that?
I can stand that. I mean, we haven't really.
No, I reached out to the Department of Ed, got to Bill Ross and Steve Appleby, who runs the entire credentialing department, and they're letting us go one more year to develop because of everything that's, the transition that's taking place. So we'll have a lot of work to do, but we have a pretty good outline of what we want to do. So we'll start putting that together and then we'll submit to them in the spring. So we'll be meeting soon.
All right, so I would like to stay on that.
Kendra, did you want to stay alternate?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Tuition exploratory committee was Gina and Kendra. Kendra, did you want to stay on that?
Yes.
committee?
Yep.
Did anybody else want to be on it with her?
When do they meet?
We are
As
in a hold
needed,
pattern
or-
until we hear more from our current friends next door.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that either.
And then the wellness committee was Gina and Kayla. Did you want to stay on that one, Kayla?
Yeah, that might be.
So we just need another person.
I'll do well.
What are you looking at me for?
Just
Mark
looking.
wants it.
Kayla, we could probably just list the ones you're not on.
I know,
Yeah, I know,
No, this
exactly.
might change, right?
You're the one that swooped it
I
up.
know, I just.
I know.
Well,
It is a lot.
I'm just thankful I got on Portrait of a Learner.
I know. I knew you were right for that.
Right in the
Yeah,
nick of time.
We knew you wanted it.
Okay, but Kendra, at least we don't have to deal with those Monday meetings.
Oh,
I never made it and you only did one. I guess.
Excuse me, I reached out to some of the selectmen today to get my update,
See, that's the way to do it.
and they came through for me.
All right,
I'm sorry,
so
who was wellness with Kayla?
Mark.
wellness was Mark.
Thank you, sorry.
And any questions about any of that? Or anything in committee stuff?
No.
So then acceptance of the 22-23 audit report.
That is fair. I was trying to follow it and I gave up, honestly. I'm
I
gonna
went
be
through the-
honest.
I went through the whole thing.
I
have
went
to
through
be
the whole
honest.
thing.
And trying out
Of
some of
course
the
I did.
numbers, I just go.
Yeah.
I went through the whole thing and
I made
on one of the
notes.
pages is a big question mark. I'm like,
From the actuarial numbers, that's when I kind of do a report.
Right.
I was like, okay, I did look through it.
I was reading it last night and then like Sophia came in and she goes, Mom, do you want me to take that and shut the light off? I'm like, what? I like
Were you
falling
falling
asleep.
asleep?
Yeah, I did. It was on the bed
It's
and with the light
very,
on.
it's very
It- yep.
engaging reading, let me
Yep.
That was
say.
when the selectmen's meeting was in there.
I know I have notes, let me, or at least questions.
Oh, my eyes.
I was, and I was at
started
half this last selectmen's meeting. I was at a different committee meeting. I had to choose.
I know, I forgot that.
That's all on choices.
I think I chose the right one.
So my questions basically fall on their, on the things they found.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yep.
So I don't know if you want to just do an overview of those.
Yeah, I can do
what I
those
was-
quickly.
Instead of going through each one I have.
That's what I was really, I was like, I hope Jane will make it make sense.
Yes.
Yeah. Easy, easy.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll just start with their minor findings first. When they were looking at the internal account, which are student accounts, they found that money was just being held onto in the buildings a little too long. That can happen sometimes. I mean, especially if you've got a safe, you kind of like put it away and you don't think about it sometimes, but you do want to do those at least weekly. And, you know, moving forward, it's already being taken care of anyway, that's not an issue. But should there be a problem with, you know, someone getting to the bank, the SAU has someone going every week, so, you know, we can always just pull it together. Not a big one there. And that's a normal finding. I mean, I'm used to seeing that. Not nice, but it is a normal finding. The second one that's a finding was they found that an order had been delivered to an employee's address. You never do that, ever. So had I been here and I'd known, it would happen. So yeah, agree with that one, no problem, already taken care of. The other one, which is a more major one, which was their finding on the controls. And this is something that turnover had a lot to do with that, especially in the spring, but also this has been going on. You guys have had a little bit of turnover in the last few years. You've also had ESSER, which is a monster. So trying to make sure that you are getting signed employee sheets for everybody that's hired and making sure they're all kept in the same place, because we are still finding them in places not like they hadn't been filed when there was some turnover. So we may very well have had those in the past when they were testing them. I mean, we may still find them, but they need to be where they're accessible and they're able to be found. Anytime an employee, and we've already addressed this one, anytime an employee is making a change, and that means if you're making a wage change, if you're making a position change, if you're making a building change, I want to know, and I want those filled out. Because as an auditor myself, I used to follow people to the file and make them pull them, so there was no time to fix anything. It was like, thank you. I want those, done in there. We have a change sheet, the district always has. It's just making sure that that gets followed up on. It's hard sometimes because we may not know somebody's, being hired, or someone's just changed a position, or, oh, well, we do this, but we're also gonna do this, and it may be a different funding source. So we have to make sure we have a sign sheet for every funding source that an employee is in, because some have multiple. So it's just keeping up on all of those and just making sure we've got them. So, we're going into our season of getting out our letters of assurance. So we will make sure we have everybody, that's in their typical job. But then as some of these smaller one-offs come in, we're just going to make sure that we have those on. And I've taken responsibility for that. I said, well, who's going to do it? I said, me. It'll be done.
I saw that. I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
But we had already instituted that because, I noticed it in the fall and they came to us and I said, oh, we're doing it, don't worry. And so you'll see my write-up says we've already implemented it. And we have, so.
That's the extent of the findings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
there wasn't a
actually really,
lot,
really
but-
good considering the amount of turnover and just everything that went on during that year. Just really awesome. to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't quite know what to expect. They kept us, one step, every bit of it. We knew what was coming. There were no surprises. And we took care of it right away. So it wasn't not a big issue. I mean, I was like, oh, is that it? Okay.
Right, yeah, right?
You're stretching out before the auditors came. She didn't know.
I mean, there were a few things that I'll tell you, just coming in, when you're like coming in the middle of everything. I think I even said at one point, all right, I'm confused by this. I'm letting the auditors do it. I don't know. And they did. They figured it out. But they said, Jane, that wasn't an easy one. I said, no, that's what I let you guys do
So I
it.
handed it to you
We'll be
guys.
moving forward.
Yes,
Yeah.
going forward, yeah. Yeah, but they've been a huge help. They really have. It's nice to have them as a resource and not just, oh my God, the auditors are here. Hold on. I never felt that way.
Yeah.
Used to be one, but yeah, it's just I've been using them as a resource, which has been really, really good. I like to have a partnership with them.
So we need a motion to accept the audit report of 22-23. Motion. Need a second. Any more discussion on it? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Thanks for all the work from everybody on that. I know it's intense.
It's a lot of.
It looks like a lot.
And I'm assuming we're finding the auditor for like this year's. soon after. And the one we start another one.
Yeah,
basically, right? So,
yeah, so you're probably, I think your previous engagement letter was signed around June, so I'm thinking that's what it might be,
Yeah,
so.
all right.
So you get to breathe for a little.
Just a little.
Well, we've
Jump
kind
in
of,
next year's budget.
Right.
we've been at rest for a while. They had an employee that went out on maternity leave.
Oh, right.
And we were the only client that she
Yeah.
wasn't able to get finished. And she decided to stay home with her baby.
Oh,
Happy for her.
well, good for her.
So they kind of had to pick it up and run.
Okay, they got it done too.
They
so.
did.
Yeah,
They did.
perfect. All right, so the scholarship donation. This sounds like it's for a scholarship, like do
Yes.
we,
What
are they
we have,
giving us the money to dole it out with? Is that why we need to accept it?
you need to accept it because it could potentially be 5,000 or more. What we're gonna need to do is we need to actually do a public hearing. So I'm asking for the board at the start of their next meeting, just to convene a public hearing. So basically open the public hearing for the acceptance of the up to $5,000. It's pretty basic. It's anonymous. It's for a student. What happens is if the student completes the first semester, they'll get 2,500 for the first semester. Upon successful completion and continued enrollment, they will get the next 2,500 for the next semester. That's why I say it's an up to. You'll open it to the public. Public can have a say. You close the public hearing. Later on, if you want, you can make the motion to accept, or you can have it so the motion to accept is right there. But it's just opening a public hearing so that public has an opportunity to have a say in it.
So I'm assuming someone has said, here's $5,000, give it out as a scholarship, and they're letting the school decide.
They
Like,
have set up the parameters through the
But the
guidance
school is
office.
basically
Yep.
in charge of it,
Yes.
of the scholarship,
They just want to remain
essentially.
anonymous.
Right, which is fine. Okay,
We have a script for the public
which is
hearing
why we
that
need to do this.
does it up, so it's-
Yep, so it's just the formality of opening it and doing the hearing.
Okay, so we need a motion to have
Actually,
a
no.
public meeting, or we just need to set
Just
one
have
up?
it made notice that we're going to.
So we need to get a date.
And we have to do a public notice.
Yeah, and there has to be so many days after that,
7
right?
days.
7
Yep.
days.
So if we do it at the next board meeting,
Mhm.
we would just need to post notice 7 days ahead of that. So we can do it at the very start of your board meeting if you want on your agenda.
Okay,
That's just kind of the easiest time to do one. That's up to you.
that sounds
But I
good.
just want to bring it to your attention that we will
Yeah.
make the public hearing.
Maria's gotten very good at the public postings.
Yep.
So that would be April 10th. No, I'm
No.
not April
May.
10th, never mind. May, sorry. May 8th. Right? School board meeting, May 8th is what I have.
And so we'll just make sure we get that posting out.
Just want to put it in my phone so I know. And if, so our board meeting is supposed to start at 6. Do we have to have it before our board meeting? Can we
Nope,
have it as
your
part of
first
our board
item,
meeting?
your first item could be public hearing to accept donation. And then you would, take
Just wanna make
a
sure.
motion to go into the public hearing. Basically hear what we've just told you or any other details that we may have. Allow the public to have comment on it. And then the board obviously can comment. Then you would close your public hearing and you can either make the motion to accept it right after that, or later on under other business or wherever you want to place it, you can have that motion.
Does that give you enough time to, I mean, graduation is 1 month later, that's enough time?
Yeah, because it's already going to be in the process of everything,
Okay.
so.
All right, perfect.
And it doesn't have to be open for a certain amount of time? The
hearing?
public hearing itself?
No.
Okay.
All right. Any questions on that? Any more questions on that? Okay. Food service meal prices.
Yes, so, let's see, which one should it go? It's called the PLE tool. It's a paid lunch equity tool. And so what that does is each year you go through it and you have to take, how many meals did you serve for November, I'm sorry, for October, the month of October, both at the middle high and the elementary, times the price that we charge. So currently our meal price at the elementary is $2.75 and at the high school, middle school is $3.25. So you take the number of meals times that, you'll come out with a number. Then what they do is they do a weighted average. So you've got, so many meals at $2.75, so many meals at $3.25. They came out with a weighted average of 3.01. So $3.01 is what we charged. And so each year what they do is they want you to increase your price up to a certain amount each year. It's a requirement. And so they can't go over 10 cents. So they put that 10 cents cap. So what they wanted us to do was to go up to $3.25. But what they do is they round it to the nearest 5 cents. Why it rounded down to 3.20? I'm okay with that. So 3.20 is what they want us to go to. So the difference between the 301 weighted average and the 3.20 is 19 cents. Now, if you remember, the board raised their price 25 cents last year. Okay, so the 10 cents cap was met, but you had 15 cents extra. So you're able to carry that 15 cents forward. So instead of doing the 19 cents, the 3.20 minus 301 for 19 cents.
Just do the algebra.
Not losing anybody
You're
else.
with, you're
We're
with
good.
it.
We're gonna take the 15 cents off, and that brings us to 4 cents. So that would be what we would have to raise it. However, I'm going to make the recommendation that we raise it 10 cents because we're gonna see a higher amount next year where we're offsetting with 15 cents to bring that 19 cents down. I just have this fear next year. And what they do is they raise it based on 2% plus the consumer price index of 8.27%. So that's how they come out to it, because they come out saying, the number that they're shooting for is $3.85. And that's why they set that cap, so that you're not, I mean, you got a lot of districts and they're all, not much more, not on a
Right.
weighted average. So what I'm asking is for the board to approve a 10-cent price hike. Now, again, if we would make that increase, understanding that if we do the community eligibility provision for the elementary, you still have your set price, but their meals would be free if that is the route we end up taking. So it would affect the high school, and they would go up from $3.25 to $3.35. So that would be my request to you. Now, you could go up to 4 cents, rounding it to 5, just because, you know,
Yeah,
that's a
because,
nicer
yeah,
number.
It's a person.
And then we could carry a penny forward, but the 10 cents would allow us to carry 6 cents forward to offset any larger increase next year.
So the high school would be $3.35, the elementary school would be.
$2.85.
We can't even get people to pay right now.
I know.
And think here, I'm like, geez, that is almost $20 a week for lunch at the elementary school, which for some people is.
That is a lot. It is. And you've got the USDA saying $3.85. And that's why, when we looked at the community eligibility provision, their max number that they would reimburse under a free rate is $4.50, but then their paid rate was 56 cents. So, you know, there's all these different nuances to it. I mean, the good thing is if you're only, you know, charging, you know, $3.35, but you're getting back $4.50 for a free, you know, that's good. But that's part of why they do this, because they do not want to be supplementing your food program by just giving you a very high dollar amount coming back when you're not charging much. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's kind of, this is like their fail safe, so to speak. Hopefully I explained that. I wasn't gonna give you all there's like, please, 10 to 12 worksheets. I pulled out the simple one.
Thank you.
So this is basically a must do. We have to do this per law, basically.
Yeah,
You have to do at least 4 cents.
4 cents, yes.
Okay.
So 285 and 335 would be our numbers.
Yeah.
285 is also a first one.
I know.
But then,
275.
you know, here's gonna be my question. Oh, sorry, Joe.
Is there a price increase on breakfast too?
We have not done one, Joe. What they're looking at is they look at paid lunch. It's paid lunch equity. So we have not done one. We don't really serve that many. However, if we end up being able to apply the CEP to the elementary school, my hope is that it's going to drive up the number of students getting a breakfast. I mean, that's one of the things that the board's going to need to consider is if we, you know, can get more food to the children where they need it. So there's a lot, it's not just the financial piece,
Right.
because here's, you know, there, I don't want to go too far in, but we have all this debt, okay, that people aren't paying for their meals. If now we're saying, well, we could lose, I don't know, $40 a day if we go with the CEP as opposed to just doing the payment outright. Well, what's $40 a day times 180? It's a heck of a lot less than what we're not collecting. So those are all things I'm going to run through you for you so that you can, because even I'm just like, this came out last Friday and in my head, I've just been going through all these scenarios.
Right.
My mind can go everywhere. So,
Yeah,
but I want to be able to just kind of bring it to you with a little more time for you to process. And we have until, I think it is June 1st or 15th, I can't remember, to reply to the state as far as the CEP portion of it.
Okay.
perfect. So if we can decide at our next meeting, we'll have plenty of time
Oh, yeah.
to.
Yeah, but again, like I said, the first thing I do have to do is confirm the 27% to make sure indeed, it's just so close. I mean, yeah,
And we do have people move, so.
we do. So many people move in,
Right.
so.
So then the question becomes, do we want to vote on it today or next month?
For the price increase, you can wait until next month. There is no rush on that. I mean, one won't affect the other. I mean, you do have to do the price increase, but whether you do it this month or next month, I mean, it's gonna be for next year, so
No, and if we do it 5 cents or 10 cents.
that's right.
Did you guys want a month to think about it or vote on it now is my question?
Because here's another question. My mind goes here, okay, sorry. So when we're doing this, if we are now serving lunches under CEP for the elementary, my question for the state is, do I now include those lunches in there at that cost? Or am I only looking at the high school, middle school at their cost and number of lunches? Because they're the only ones paying in. Because if that's the case, we'd be looking at $335. We're covered on any increase because we will have been enough higher than the weighted average, because our weighted average is gonna be up. So there's just
But
a
if
lot
they're
of things in this.
If they're paying $450 though, couldn't it also go the other way? Cause now we're getting more money than we were.
Yeah, they've just kept going up because everything obviously going up, so.
Do you think that number will end up counting? Cause that could potentially make things murky.
Yeah, that number will stay the same. It will only go up or down by the CPI. So CPI hasn't gone down much. It's been pretty stale at one point at 0.0003%, but yeah, and that was many years ago. So it's gonna be up to you, but my recommendation would do the 10 cents just to, like, I mean, otherwise we would have been close to 20 cents had we not had something to apply. So I'm just trying to keep it a little bit under. But again, up to you if you want to do 4 cents, 5 cents, 10 cents. And again, we can wait till next month with this. That's up to you if you want some time.
We'll have more information by next month too. though,
I sure
right?
hope so. But you can see where my mind goes, and when I call, I confuse them. We'll
I'm wondering
continue
if
to
you
get
won't
back
have-
to you.
I'm wondering if you won't have some of those answers next month. You know what I mean?
Like
Yeah.
conversation.
I kind of feel like we should wait just because then we get.
So let's make a
all
motion
of
to
it. Table.
table it till next month.
I'll make a motion to table the price change until next month.
Yep, and this did just come out. I just jumped on it quickly because like it's.
And it
it's in my
doesn't
head.
mess you up to wait.
What's that?
It
No,
won't mess you
no.
up.
So I need a second. Anybody?
I'll second.
All those in favor to waiting till next month? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
I'm filling up your agenda for next month.
April 8th, solar eclipse information.
We provided that in the board packet. Were there any follow-up questions? Anyone have any questions about what we did or?
I know the high school got some glasses. We heard that.
Yeah.
The elementary school went.
Viewing party at the elementary school.
Justin got everything all set up for us so that, I was a little afraid that the elementary children would not be responsible wearers of their eclipse classes.
Mhm.
So we streamed from NPR, right, Justin?
Yeah, NHPR, yes.
NPR, from Lancaster, New Hampshire. But, you know, with the timing of it, they were heading back to class to get ready for dismissal. So we saw, you know, up until like 30 minutes before the total eclipse that they would experience up there. But I think, you know, the kids enjoyed it. And Justin had some good photos, good video.
Okay.
So it was, I think, you know,
Kids had fun.
Yeah, I don't believe we had any reports of anyone burning out their retinas.
Okay.
Yeah, doctors in town may have gotten a few extra calls, but they weren't from the Hinsdale School District.
no, we did have a lot of kids excused too in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It's true.
And
A lot
they
of
come back very
parents
late in the
were
evening.
Right.
The traffic was bad.
Yeah. I saw that online. I was like, whew.
Mhm.
That's cool. I got to see it.
It would have been nicer if it had better timing, you know?
Yeah.
Would have liked to have been in Texas.
Who's scheduling this?
I know.
My
What's
God.
It was horrible timing.
I'm just amazed that they can forecast it out 20 more years from now.
I
and get it
know.
right, but we can't find out how much snow we're gonna get.
Right?
I'm with you.
That's not as consistent as the Sun and Moon, apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
All right, any other board business?
I just have a recommendation from Mr. Hartnett that the school board, maybe the principals participate in the Memorial Day parade this year. So sit on that and we can, principals, superintendent.
Oh yeah, the board has been in it in the past.
I can say, I just met with Mr. Thurston this morning, and he's working on having several members of the band be a part of that.
Oh, good,
So
great.
just working out the clothing, and things like that. But yeah, we met this morning.
Oh,
So
perfect. All
it'd be-
right,
that would-
awesome.
Which would be cool. I'm not guaranteeing it yet, but that's his goal.
That's great. I'll
Yeah.
let him know that that's.
Is it on the Monday?
Okay, so he didn't say
10
when.
o'clock.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to
Yeah.
figure
10
out,
o'clock
what,
that Monday.
that Monday.
Yeah, it starts on Depot Street, right?
Yeah,
And
the
then they
Depot
go-
Street Cemetery,
Yeah.
and then we go way down. I got
They
three
end
trucks
at
to
the
drive.
VFW.
I'm,
All at once, huh? Good luck.
I'm already
Oh,
in
yeah, nice
it
to see
with
that.
my daycare, so we're usually in it, so that would be.
Yeah, school.
So that would
board-
just leave us
Because
three
Mr.
for a
Hartnett needs
board.
people.
So
Are we
Kevin,
on
does
the
he
floor?
need some, he would like, I have two questions. One is,
Mm-hmm.
John, you mentioned clothing. Does that mean we have like some sort of uniform for
Well,
them?
we have uniforms, but we're afraid they may fall apart.
Yeah, they're pretty
So,
small.
so,
That's
but no, he's
not-
gonna do white shirts, black pants,
Okay.
unless we
Oh,
get the
perfect.
band t-shirts in. So,
Okay, so we
yeah.
should talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I think that we might be able to supply, or at least maybe have some t-shirts.
Yeah.
Or,
we'll figure it out.
I think a lot of the elementary kids are already marching with the Cal Ripken
Yeah.
and the
Yeah,
Phillies.
all
Yeah.
the teams are.
So-
He was specifically talking about this group, so.
and asking the group to march in the parade.
Or
Or
ride in it.
Yeah.
A bicycle through it, however you
a
want to get on
scooter,
it.
a knee scooter.
However
okay.
we see fit,
No,
if
all right, I was
that's
just
the
curious
route
what
that
you
we
thought.
go.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's usually like a car or something. I'm not usually in town, so when the board did it and I was on the board, I was also still not.
Still not
So-
there.
Right, I was
Still
just curious what
I-
what he was asking for. Okay.
I will be there, but on a wagon. You all could
Wayne will
ride
be
on the
driving
wagon
for
with the
truck.
children and hold the baby.
Jeep, they want the town
So,
truck.
all right. I will let him know that I brought it up.
Aren't you the only driver?
And what, Joe, did you say what day it was? What actual day?
Yes.
It's
Mr.
Memorial
Yeah,
Hartnett?
Day.
it's on Memorial Day.
No,
27th.
he does the Memorial Day parade. He used to actually be the principal here. Wow, I don't really know what his name classification part would be, but Memorial Day Parade Coordinator. Mrs. Foster said I did a good job.
I didn't say all that.
You just went like this to me.
Oh, boy.
All right, do we want to discuss being in the parade? Is there a discussion to be had of that? It sounds like most of everybody's like in it in some way or
We're in it
another
somewhere.
already.
Oh,
Maybe just hang a sign
So-
on whatever we're riding in or on.
Also schoolwork.
That's what I told Wayne, he just has to put it on the fire truck.
Maybe we can make a more definitive
well,
plan
if
for
you
next
ride in
year.
our wagon, you get to go up into the Poloni farm afterward, all on the wagon. So
Oh,
you
that's
can
true.
join us on our wagon ride.
Maybe I'll ride on.
I'll be there waving.
Yeah.
All right. No, you like this.
Okay.
I didn't do that.
All right, thank you for the invitation though.
All right. I'll let him know.
Yes.
So is that a definite?
Well, I'll be there anywho.
I
Wayne
mean, are
will be
you here
there
that day?
and we'll make Mark be there.
To our friend's
Yeah.
farm that weekend, but we haven't made any.
It's my daughter's birthday weekend, generally, so. You
All
know.
right. I'll let him know some of us will be there and some of us won't.
Rock your
Yes.
daughter.
Yep. All right.
All right, great. Do we need any admin for non-public or committees? Does anybody need any of them to stay for committees?
We're all good with personnel committee because we talked about the job descriptions already, so that's where I don't see
Oh, wait,
a
did-
need for committee reports.
I just wanted to ask Joe, because every time we do this and he leaves, and I'm like, oh, I should have asked him.
Right.
Do we have another behavior support meeting planned?
No.
Okay, good. So I'm not, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything.
Before they leave, I just want to say that we got some communication from Holly Kennedy thanking us for the card and some of her retirement from the school board. So if we don't need them, then I would like to dismiss this. Mr. Barth, Fabio, Justin and Karen, unless, or you can hang out. We're good. And Michael, if you don't wanna hang out, you can,
I won't need
free
you
to go, we don't need you
Really?
here all
Really?
night.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding.
Oh, it's the first time
We actually
ever.
don't
She's like,
need
I'm
to.
not even
Wow.
giving you the chance to say.
I gotta talk to one else.
Is that code?
We're doing committee reports next.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Hey, could you actually just stay for just a minute?
Yes.
Thank you.
She's like, see, you should have.
Sorry,
run
I do
faster.
You're almost out.
We're not in a public.
Yeah. So, committee reports, behavioral support team,
We have not met and there's no meeting plan currently.
budget committee. I don't have a next meeting set up with them. They haven't said anything yet, so.
And that doesn't usually
They don't
start.
usually start till like later on, getting closer to.
No,
budget
but we
season.
had a discussion last year about meeting monthly or at least bi-monthly to, they'll need to set up, like, after those, like we did for our committee, setting up the new board, they'll have to do that too, so, and then, and introducing the new board members to the committee too, so. Even though I think most of them have already been on it,
Karen's,
I think the only new one, yeah.
So pending.
Yeah. Community connections, I'm posting, so if you have information, give it to me. Facilities maintenance is meeting April 19th at 2:15 is that committee's meet time. HASP advisory. I thought we had a meeting today, so I showed up. I had it in my calendar. When is the next
I
meeting?
was gonna say, when is the
Do
next?
you know?
May,
I believe it's next
May?
month. May.
Okay.
before our meeting.
And
Yeah.
what time does it start?
5:30.
5:30.
Yeah, maybe. I have it now.
Well, and that was funny because when I was in the kitchen, I haven't changed the calendar wall yet. And then I was like, oh, I do have a meeting. I don't have it. I do. I
I
don't.
do.
I watched that argument.
Legislative, we basically talked about the 306 is the biggest thing right now, I think.
We'll pull out the policies. And kind of use that as well. School Board Association.
And you guys are getting the emails from the New Hampshire School Board Association with the updates on what's going on and that, on the legislation part.
I think so. I don't think
Should
I've
be
gotten
getting
one in
them.
a minute though.
Yeah, usually so it's like
They-
one a week generally. I know that they're about to cross over. So,
Yes, crossover day is coming.
yeah, is coming up.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so then it'll go from the House stuff
To the
that will go to the Senate
Senate.
stuff will come to the House. So, yeah. There's a lot going on there, so.
Is it gonna be coming from?
The New Hampshire School Board Association emails.
There we go.
Mark, have you received anything from the School Boards Association?
I think one of the things we have to do is the contact information too for everybody on the board, like set up the new, so we need to get that information to Maria so she can set up that new list with the new board members and stuff like that too, so she
I
can get
have
that
it
out.
ready to go. I just wanted to see who was the chair for next year, because that's something they asked for, and I figured I would give it to them.
Yeah.
So, if that wasn't actually sent, sorry.
No, that's fine. As long as you've got all the everybody's information,
I have
so.
everybody's addresses and.
So you'll be getting emails
My life.
soon from them then, if you're gonna send that up there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you'll be getting emails from them soon about, the big one I want you guys to remember is the, new board member orientation that they do, training, so definitely, if you can sign up for that one, there's 2 different ones, so if you can't do one date, you can hopefully you can do the next one. There's a lot of good information about being on the board for the first time and what you need to do and whatnot. Personnel committee meets on the 23rd at 4:30 this month. Wasn't anything else for that? at this
No,
point.
we'll give an update on our process.
Policy committee, we don't have anything because notes on that is not here. Selectmen, was there anything for?
Yeah, let me just check my notes. Let me find where, I have them right here.
Oh, my God,
Uh,
my goodness.
listen, I didn't go to the meeting because I had my HEF meeting.
She had to choose.
Thank you. But,
So
the
did you get a
selectmen,
text update?
yes, the selectmen gave me a little update that, They did the welcoming of the new chief. They talked about the voting issues and applying for the Jeffrey Holt Foundation grant to supply new voting. I have the lack of word here. What's the word?
The
The
machines.
machines, yes.
I think we could save some money and just keep them.
I know.
That personally.
That's like
And-
$500,000.
Yeah.
It really,
not
it
that
takes
bad.
us a couple hours.
Right, and that was really the extent of their conversation. So,
Yeah.
After this time of year.
Right.
The drama is calmed.
Staff development.
That's more coming soon.
Tuition exploratory is on hold, essentially, and wellness committee.
We are meeting April, next Wednesday, whatever that date is, 17th.
Sure.
17th.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. And I did just see your email. I didn't look through all of it though, but it is on my
I'm on
radar.
that. Wellness, I'm on that.
Yeah, I think so. I have to go back to.
Yeah,
my
so
notes,
next
but-
Wednesday,
Next
Mark will be
Wednesday.
here at 3:30.
Mark, I'll send you what I just sent to everybody today.
Thank you.
And Maria should send out everybody that's on new committees, like emails from.
Yeah, I'm gonna fix all the calendar.
Yeah.
Links. And so I do it using the district email addresses, so just to check your district email.
Yeah, the school board.
To, for the calendar links.
Yeah. All right, brings us to citizens' comments. Donna, you got anything for us?
Thank you.
Anybody online? Sorry you
Okay, we
couldn't be here for the
actually
beginning
do-
of the meeting.
Unlicensed room, do you have any comments? And Miriam, do you have any comments?
Okay.
Oh, thanks, Miriam.
So now we need a motion to go into non-public.
We'll make a motion to go into non-public.
Do we know what letters we're going under?
Oh, it's like alphabet soup.
Mhm.
So definitely we're going A and C.
And
Yes, please.
did someone make a motion? You made it.
Yeah, and Wayne
Wayne
seconded.
seconded.
Yeah.
So I need a roll call, so everybody just needs to say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Just say
Yes.
All right, and we're in non-public. Thank you, Donna.